TOY, tour review time. It is tour review time. One of the many Primal Attack figures that I wasn't that excited to see when the images dropped was the Cyrolophosaurus. Now when it's in my hands, I still kind of feel that, but it is not as strong. This figure is a lot better than the promo images made it out to be. Overall, it looks pretty well. It has a few differences between most of the toys in the Primal Attack line. In the Mattel line they've given us. This one is kind of different in a few ways, but there are a lot of similarities. Of course, it kind of looks like... oh, shit. One of the first apparent problems with this figure is that it is very, very sound trigger happy. It makes a lot of noise, and there's no turn-off button, so you can't stop it from making noise. I am definitely going to be taking out the batteries of this figure when I get the chance. Moving on from the action feature, the creature's looks are hit or miss. I've heard people complain that the Mattel line looks a lot like a really, really cartoony. And I've always kind of tried to defend that because I've never really thought they're that cartoony. I've thought usually they look semi-real, not the realest, but to where it's not cartoony. This one, I'm just going to be frank, it looks like a freaking Imaginext figure, just with slightly better quality. It's still not a bad figure. It looks pretty okay. I like the color scheme, and it has some pretty good detail, but it still has that look to where it looks like an Imaginext figure. Moving away from the negatives, the detail on this figure is really, really good, especially on the legs and the inside of the mouth. Those are the two primary parts that have the most detail in my opinion. They all look really, really nice. As well as that, the scaling, it looks semi-better than it usually does. You can even see some of the ribs, and it looks overall just really, really good. The detail on this guy is really, really, really amazing. Only real complaint is that the fingers are not painted, yet the toes are. This inconsistency annoys me. Paint aside, let's get onto the articulation. It has an articulated jaw. Its arms can also move in and out and can go up and down, which can allow for some pretty cool poses. The legs can also move. They can go backwards. They can kind of go in and out. It's kind of hard, but you can probably get it eventually. I don't know if it's with every figure, but the left leg on mine does not clock in. The other one does. But you can have it running or something, and it all looks really, really good. The head, of course, can move, and the tail controls that, actually, which can allow for it to go roaring around, maybe chomp down on something and, like, thrash it around. It looks really, really cool. Overall, the articulation is pretty standard, but you can get some really, really nice poses out of it, and I give it a A+. When it comes to sizing, it's about as big as your standard Roarvor. Here it is next to the Rex head. And if you don't have a Roarvor or a Rex head, here it is next to a standard 6-inch Bandai figure. Overall, this figure is really, really good. It has a few downsides, like it's a sound strike, as well as it kind of looks a bit cartoony, but it isn't terrible. The few problems it does have don't really bother me that much, besides the sound strike, which I will remove, but it's still really, really good. It has an articulated jaw, which is something that we so rarely see within this line, which I think is amazing. Its detail is really, really good, better than standard Mattel figures. As well as that, it's a pretty unusual species. And that's all I have for this video. Thank you guys for watching, and the photo on screen right now should hint you in as to what the next review is going to be. Have a nice day, everyone, and bye-bye.